How's it going, everybody? This is, of course, your favorite AI artist, Oprelia, and today I'm going to be showcasing you some really cool tips and tricks inside Midjourney for beginners and pros alike, which can enhance your images and make them a lot more closer to the end results that you are looking for. Starting off, when you see an actual cool, concept art or fantasy art on other website, and you're thinking like, how do I recreate this image on Midjourney in the similar style and fashion? And one of the things you need to do first is actually choose the image, and what you're able to do is click slash or type slash describe, and then you can paste an image or a link, and this essentially will give you an idea what is exactly going on here. So I'm gonna put out this eye here, and it will give me a bit of an idea what would be the keywords here to go on inside Midjourney to get something closer to that. Now, even if you have these specific images here, and let's say we copy paste this over and go into here on the web client and try to prompt it out, will it actually get closer to the end result? So here is another example of an image that I was able to find in Civitai, which is obviously a lot of stable diffusion art. And Midjourney is not always the best tool to basically recreate their art styles because they do very different 2.5D art and especially anime art, and they're always kind of hard to recreate inside Midjourney. So there's a couple of ways that you can go around with this. So this is that image that I just showed you on the same prompt that was given out by the Describe tool inside Midjourney, and when you compare this into that image, they're not very close. But one of the cool tools that you can do inside Midjourney is actually give them an image reference. So we can post in a link of an image like here. We can even copy image address here and paste that in, and voila, we have the image here. And then you go in pasting the actual prompt after, and it will give you a lot more closer results. So when we see this second row over here, you can clearly see that there's a lot more closer similarity to the original image compared to the first one. The third step that you can do is also add a command known as sref. This is not actually working on the web version at the moment, to my understanding, but basically, well, it actually put it as an attachment, so it's kind of hard to see here. And this is basically a way to capture the style of the original image. So sref is a bit more different from the actual image reference. But once again, when you compare the third row here, which has the initial image, the source image, and the sref image added here as extensions with the prompt, it is a lot more closer to the original image compared to the first two. And then lastly, you can use things like Niji 6, which is compatible with sref code, and this will get you even a lot more closer. I would argue that this is the most closest entry out of the four into that original image, but Niji is a lot more for the fantasy art, a lot more for anime art, but this is actually a very, very good tool. And here we can see like the images of the eye, and this is not exactly the closest thing, but once again, if we would use the original image of that eye with the actual prompt here, it would get us a lot more closer to that end result. So always use the image references to get to a lot more closer to that original style. Midjourney is not able to replicate every single style that exists on these other AI tools or inside, the web in general, but it's pretty close when you give the sref reference and the image reference, and maybe sometimes using Niji 5 or 6, depending on the art style, you're going to be getting a lot more closer. So once again, we use the reference image here, and we got a lot more closer here to that original image when we had the image reference here compared to here. But let's move on. Another very essential parameter that we can use is the chaos one. So when we were prompting out these eye images here, we can definitely see that the images 2, 3, and 4 are quite similar to each other. And when we want to have a lot more creative process, we obviously want to have images that are kind of different from each other. And what you can do is --C, and add any number from 0 to 100. And what it basically will do, it will try to create now a new set of images that are a lot more different from each other. So it's going to give us a lot more variety in terms of the offering. It's going to be going stylistically, a lot more chaos-like, as the name suggests. And this is, in my opinion, one of the more unused features of the Midjourney, and especially when you are looking for something very different here. And right now we actually forgot to use the right dimensions here, but you can clearly see that all of these 4 images right now here are very different from each other. Maybe the first one and the fourth one are kind of similar, but they are from a different angle. So the chaos feature gives you a lot more of that needed variety when you're seeking out different styles and different angles for your image. Another very essential feature inside Midjourney is actually zooming and cropping the actual image. So once you have prompted out something, maybe you actually forgot to use the dimensions that you originally were supposed to do, what you can actually go into is to reframe, and this works on both on the web version and also inside Midjourney. And you have the ability to basically reshape the image into dimensions that you were originally looking for. So maybe you want to turn the image into a phone wallpaper, and I'm going to be hitting the submit, and now we'll basically start prompting out this image in new dimensions without changing out this core area here. It will just start to imagine what would the image look like from outside of the dimensions of this image. So here we can see currently on the process, and this is not ending here. There's also another feature that they have added out a couple of patches ago, which is the zoom out option and zoom in option. So let's say once we have an actual image here, like let's say this one, and okay, this is the best one out of them, and you have the ability to basically now zoom out. So let's say I'm going to do a 1.5 image. Let's do a more bigger zoom out of this image. I don't want to use the portrait anymore. And this is one of the better ways to also do a lot more higher quality and detailed images. You start out by typing in something like portrait or close-up photo or close-up of X, and this will give you a lot more closer camera look into the image. And from there, you can start working out into a lot more bigger image, whatever it's, going into horizontally or vertically. And this is one of the best ways to do it, in my opinion. Obviously, it's going to be costing you a bit more in credits when you're going to be using these things. This didn't turn out to be that great in my opinion, but there are other examples where it works out better, especially when you're going to be using a horizontal images altogether. So this is another very good way to manipulate your images into something different of a dimension. Another very cool advanced trick inside Midjourney is the double colon feature, and this basically assigns a level of text weight inside our prompt. So here I have a prompt that I have made. It has basically 3 different parts, and we can copy it here, and I'm going to be pasting over the same dimensions here as well. And we can add double colon here. So I'm going to be having the bark skin and hyperrealistic separate from the humanoid hunter prompt here. So I'm going to be putting this at 0.9. And automatically we'll put 1.0, and you can also use negative values. So let's say if we wanted to have less of that bark skin appear on the image, we could have added, like a minus there, or we could have also added like, hey, we don't want to see anything of that. Like let's say the color brown, could have added dash no brown, or we could have added brown double colon -5. So this is basically a way to alter out the image and have a different focus inside of that image, which is going to be altering a bit different, having a different focus on different keywords. And as you can clearly see, now it's not having that much of a focus on the bark skin, and it's doing something a bit more different stylistically from here. Obviously, I did like the previous images here more, but this double colon feature has a lot of different functionalities. It's not always going to be working out the way you want it to, and that's why I said it's a very expert feature, and you have to know what you do. And especially, it's really good on when you're going to be focusing on very long prompts and descriptions, like let's say you're describing a character inside the image and background, and you should be separating those by colon. And here you can see definitely this is not as hyper realistic as the first images here. So the quality and everything like the bark skin are a lot more lesser focus here technically compared to the first 4 images that we did. Another very cool parameter that you can use inside Midjourney, which is very useful for graphic designers, is the tile feature, which allows us to create out seamless images. So if you're maybe perhaps designing somebody's tiles on their bathroom or tapestry for their house, maybe you're just designing a website background, or maybe you're designing a desktop wallpaper for yourself, it is important to have a certain pattern design that is totally seamless. So for example, if you have an image that is not seamless, it would look something like this as a wallpaper. It's not syncing very well, it doesn't have a lot of flow that is actually very cool. So this is where the actual designs come out with the actual seamless pattern. So here we have an image, let me save this, and we can use this tool here to basically check out that images are actually seamless. And there we go. This is absolutely gorgeous now. There's like this definite flow here. There are obviously ways to do this differently. So here's another pattern that I was using. This gives you maybe a better flow in my opinion. It doesn't make it so tiley. I don't know how to really say it. That first image was a bit more horizontal, I guess, instead of like being horizontal and vertical equally. But tile feature is very useful for graphic designers, and I definitely recommend people to use this, and you can experiment it with a lot, and it does support a lot of different things inside Midjourney. But that is essentially what I have to share with you guys today. There are a lot of very, very cool things that you can do with Midjourney, which we are going to be exploring in the future of this channel. As always, make sure to subscribe and like, and check out some of the other AI stuff that I have reviewed on the channel, whatever it's AI, programs for audio and sound, or video, or other image prompters that we have also reviewed on the channel. Thanks for watching. I will be seeing you next time on the next video.